Good morning. It is March 7th, Saturday, here at Candlestick Point, the site of what used to be Candlestick Park, home of the 49ers. Now they moved a bit south. So, doing a little nostalgic type connection with Troop 15, my old Boy Scout troop from San Francisco. Gonna do the crosstown hike, starting at Candlestick Point up to Land's End, which is at the mouth of the Golden Gate. So a little over 17 miles. Got some scouts with us. We'll see how they fare. But right now conditions are spectacular for winter. And then just got to remember to spring forward. And we're off. That's the site of what used to be Candlestick Park. Went and saw the Niners play the Seahawks in September 2009. And in the distance you can see Salesforce. Got the nice muni map here. We started here at Candlestick and now we're at the Bayshore. Just went under 101. And this crosstown hike finishes over here. But we're gonna add some miles so these kids can get their 20-mile requirement for the hike and merit badge. Going through these urban gardens, Visitation Valley Greenway. These little nooks and crannies of the city are just super cool to come across.
Dead bodies out here once in a while.
Ooh. John McLaren Park, home of dead bodies, according to Ken. There's the bay. Ken's calves. I followed those things on the JMT for 21 days. There's the famous Cow Palace. Beatles, Stones, Warriors. In the 1960 Republican Convention. Go figure. Nice vantage from a tower. Okay, we're going over the Burnell Cut for the original railroad and widened for the road. Heading to Glen Canyon. All right, we're in Glen Park, and that's the Glen Park BART station. Okay, we're gonna go through Glen Canyon and not follow people that are jaywalking. All these cool murals, and we're on the crosstown hike. Stopped at the Glen Park Recreation Center. I'm getting something to eat. Olive oil, sardines. I'm not allowed to eat them at home. Walking through Glen Canyon. Just finished walking through Glen Canyon. Was hoping to see the super genius, coyote. All right, there's Twin Peaks there. We're not going up there. Stop to take a look at Mount Davidson, the high point of San Francisco. Looking around and baby super plume. And look, Troop 88. All right, coming down a little bit, going past Laguna Honda Hospital in the stand of eucalyptus trees, a couple redwoods. Temperature just dropped about 5 degrees. Nice to be out of the sun. Quick stop. Scouts are getting some water on the Laguna Honda Trail. That's the backside of Mount Davidson. Just finished section 2, Laguna Honda Station, Twin Peaks Tunnel. That's a cool station. That's like a couple hundred feet down. This is the trail. Steps. Crossing 14th and Quintera, coming up on 15th and Quintera. So, used to live in the house right there, but this was our view every day. It was spectacular, and there's the Fair Lawns, not the Burn Headlands. You can see off in the distance Point Reyes. You know, last week I was at Stinson Beach over in that vicinity. Yeah, this is a epically gorgeous day in San Francisco. So, back to catch the troop. There's the number 5. I used to pick up that bus at 5:45 in the morning. Just walking along the road. Perfect day. There's Mount Tam. So last week I went from the beach to the peak. That was epic. On the summit of Grandview Hill. All right, there's Transamerica Building. Can't see Alcatraz. Angel Island. And there's the home of Troop 15, St. Anne's of the Sunset. And Mount Tam. You can see the 3 peaks. Left to right, West Peak, Middle Peak, East Peak. And last week I started at the ocean, went up. And this vicinity over here is Land's End. That's where the trail finishes. Time for lunch. So these steps here come with a lesson if you're willing to pay attention. Going this way, again, they look kind of bland. But looking around, you got plants, and then look at that. So look at things from different perspectives. Hidden garden steps. Do the monkeys bite? All right, in Golden Gate Park, Stowe Lake. Lots of people out on their paddle boats. So I'm on the island in Golden Gate Park, and this was Nick's Eagle project. Still in use, looking good. Super genius alert. Made it through Golden Gate Park on a parallel trail next to 19th. Heading north to the Presidio, and then we'll cut over to Seacliff and then Land's End. We're now off 19th, Park Presidio, and in the Presidio, former Army base, and closed in October 1994, but they let service members live here. And I guess my claim to fame is I was the last service member to live at the Presidio under the Department of Defense agreement, where I just paid my housing allowance. And that ended June of 2013. So, nice to come back. Still walking through the Presidio. That valley over there is the watershed for Lobos Creek. That's really the only creek in the city now, and That's where the Presidio gets its water. We got 11 long-haired Jesus Freaks and a Chartreuse microbus. Walking through Seacliff. That's Robin Williams' house right there. And that driveway there is where Dirty Harry stunt took place.
Looks like they're somebody.
Yeah, they're redoing his house. Finishing up with Seacliff, and now entering the final section, Land's End. This is an awesome section of the hike. Look at that. First view, and zooming in on Baker Beach. I don't think I've seen that many people there ever, and this section over here, I'm glad I don't have that much detail because you probably don't want to see what is over there. But gorgeous views. If you're a Dirty Harry fan, there's a scene filmed right here where Dirty Harry exclaims how nobody but nobody puts ketchup on a hot dog. Almost done with the Land's End Trail section, but still have about 3 miles to hike back to St. Anne's. You can tell that the scouts have done well over 15 miles. Something they don't normally do, but good to do. They'll get their 20 miles in. I'll get my 20 miles in, feeling good. Gotta keep eating and drinking. Land's End Lookout. There are quite a few people here. We have made it to the completion monument, although there is no marker for the crosstown hike in San Francisco. 17 miles, 2,000 feet elevation gain and loss, but we still got to get back to St. Anne, so 3 miles, bonus miles. And if you're a scout, you get the 20-mile credit. That's where my kids went to school, St. Thomas the Apostle. Regretfully, it's shut. Back in Golden Gate Park, about a mile to go back to the parking lot at St. Anne's, the sunset. Feeling okay. Still walking through Golden Gate Park. That's Strawberry Hill. And you can't see it, but Nick built a trail up there. That's the one that I showed earlier. That was his Eagle project. Stowe Lake. Just about to exit Golden Gate Park. Epic day here. Perfect weather for the middle of March. All right, making it out of Golden Gate Park. Just a few more blocks back to St. Anne's. Finishing up the crosstown hike, which was a little over 17 miles, and then we got an extra 3 miles bonus. Started 6:45, finished at 6 o'clock. So just under 12 hours of time on feet. Good stuff. Great time with Ken and Susie and Troop 15. Less than a week to go.